Hey, how you doing? Good morning. This is the day the Lord hath made.
Exactly.
How you doing?
Good.
Nice to meet you. I'm Bob.
Good. So you know that this church supports. We're pro-life.
Yeah.
We're not pro.
Sure, we understand that. Actually, that's why we stand in front of the pro-life churches. Is we're actually abolitionists. We want to see abortion end.
Yeah.
And so, so we see a distinction, a little bit of a distinction there. And so what we're asking, what I'm seeking in Huntsville, all the churches I stand in front of, which, like I said, are pro-life biblical churches, I agree with everything y'all agree with, is I'm seeking revival. So I'm using abortion as my mechanism, but what I want to see is a church, just one church out of 200, that will put up on their website Abortion Rescue Sidewalk Ministry.
Have you asked?
Alongside, the ministry for the poor, the ministry for the homeless, which are all good ministries. This church
Have
probably.
you asked Rusty to do that?
This church, I have asked Rusty. I've asked Rusty and I've asked Pastor Tim.
Okay.
Tim with the 2 M's. You know who I'm talking about? McLaughlin or something like that. And Tim and I have had a lot of exchanges, and Rusty, we ran into Rusty last Sunday out at Phil Sandoval's afterwards, and I told him that. I said, that's all I'm really asking you to do, and so that the people in the church who are called to the sidewalk, not everybody's called to the sidewalk, right? We both agree with that. But the ones who are called will know it's okay to be a Christian and to stand out in opposition to, abortion.
Yeah.
And to stand up against it.
Which
I know in your heart, I think you agree with that.
Okay. The only thing that is when you're picketing.
We're not picketing.
Well, this is. I mean, the nature of this is called picketing.
Right, but that's not what.
But I understand. But the people driving by are thinking that you're doing this in front of our church because we don't believe.
Right. But we don't.
And that's the assumption that people are making,
well,
and it's
it's
a little bit
they're making
twisted.
They're making actually 2 assumptions. First of all, we're Christians, so we don't care what people think. We care what God thinks, right? But they're actually making 2 assumptions. About half the people driving by think we're protesting against your church, and about half the people driving by think we're protesting for your church. And
nobody thinks you're protesting.
Oh yes, they do. Oh yes, they do. We've talked. No. We've had this with every church.
But here, how about this strategy?
In fact, Rusty thinks it. Rusty thought it because Rusty said in the sermon.
I'll let you talk.
Okay.
What about this strategy? Why don't you go to the places like the Catholic churches, who are, wishy-washy?
We already do. Actually, we have a higher proportion of Catholics on that sidewalk, even with their false gospel. We have a higher proportion of Catholics out there at Sparkman Drive than we do of non-Catholics. And we have about, I think almost for every Catholic in this town, I think there may be 20 non-Catholic Christians. So we actually do.
It's just an impression that you give.
Sure.
When you're out here, it's like a boycott.
Sure. That's
the impression that you give. And there's a question is why in front of the rock? I mean, why not?
We do it.
Church alone could shut down the murder mill.
Yeah.
For minutes from the murder mill.
Look
1% of
money.
this church.
Money doesn't do that.
1% of this church.
You don't need any
50
money for
people.
that. You don't need any money for
if
that.
1% of this church came out in front of that murder mill, it would be shut down. That'd be 50 people.
We're actually out here because we believe the rock has the potential to spark revival in this town.
Then the place that you need to be is talking.
Hey, brother, come talk to me. How you doing?
You need to be talking with Rusty and the church
I've
leaders.
already talked to Rusty.
Rusty already said this church is not called to go to the abortion mill.
Yeah. They actually called the police on us.
5,000 people are not called to go try to rescue babies.
Yeah, but you don't have to tell us what we should believe. We already believe what you believe.
It's not enough
We're
to
just not
believe
going to do that.
Not really, actually.
Well, then do it.
The Bible tells you to rescue those who are being taken
don't be out
to the
here.
slaughter.
It looks like you're against this church when you're standing out here on the street.
Not for half of them. It looks like we're for them.
Leading to their death.
Actually, it looks like half.
No, don't tell me that.
Your
it's true.
Is leading to the death
don't raise your
these
voice
children.
at me. This is what I'm talking about.
That's her normal voice.
That's
actually her normal voice.
Well, it may be, but that's not appropriate in front of the church.
Infants are dying in this town.
We have to cry out for the unborn. If we don't do it, we're going to stand in front of the Lord Jesus Christ.
But the impression that you give, but do it in front of a church that doesn't believe. There you get some change.
No. They don't know it's wrong. We stand in front of apostate churches.
We know
too.
It's wrong.
That's right, and that's why we're here. You know it's wrong, but you're pro-choice for the babies being killed.
We won't do exactly what you want to do for your strategy.
Exactly.
But your strategy isn't the only strategy.
Exactly. My strategy is, why doesn't a Christian church have a sidewalk ministry? This is a Christian church, right?
Yeah, but we don't have to do everything just because you think it's the right thing.
I didn't say that. I'm just a messenger.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
I'm just a messenger.
I'm just telling you my heart, and my heart is that you pick it someplace because the people behind you. That's why you go to the abortion places and pick it out there.
Absolutely.
Because you want to stop people who are going in there and change their minds.
Right.
You're not going to change our minds. We already believe what you believe.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You're not an.
This is not the way.
You're not an abolitionist.
This is not the way.
We hear that in front of all the churches. But here's the thing.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to church.
So let me tell you something.
No, I'm done.
No, you're not done.
You've already.
You're not done. You would rather shoot the messenger than fight the child sacrificers, just like the Pharisees of old. Just like the Pharisees. Just like the Pharisees. You would rather shoot the messenger than fight the child sacrificers.